Monday. I'm so excited to talk to you about the saint for today. I am not sure if you know him, but our dad told us about him years ago. And as I was choosing the saint for today, his name came up. So, I'm talking about no other than Saint Andre of Canada. He was born Alfred Bisset in 1845, and he was the eighth of a dozen children. He was born to very poor parents. His father and mother had a farm that they would till, but unfortunately, when Alfred was just 6 years old, his father had an accident and passed away. Years later, his mom contracted tuberculosis and also succumbed to it. And he was raised by his aunt and uncle. Now, Alfred was a very sickly child. He contracted problems with his stomach when he was only 10 years old, and he had such bad indigestion. When he grew up, he tried to be a shoemaker, but he couldn't keep on bending because his stomach would bother him. He eventually tried being a baker, but the heat of the area of the oven was too much for him to handle. Eventually, though, he met Father Provençal, and Father Provençal told him about an order that may take him in, and this is the Order of the Holy Cross. Now, as little Alfred was growing up, one of the things that he did was spend his Sunday afternoons in front of the Blessed Sacrament. While all of the other children were playing, he would be there praying. And I think it was this deep devotion that led him really to be closer to God. When he eventually entered the Order of the Holy Cross, because he was not learned and they had a very good education there, he was assigned to be the doorkeeper. Basically, he was the guy who opened the doors for visitors who came to the college. But he did it with such devotion and such humility that every time guests would come, he would take care of them, he would get their bags, he would entertain them, and he would talk to them. And as he talked to them, he would have this perception of their problems and even what their ailments were, if they were sick. And eventually, guys, he had cures attributed to him. But he always said, if you have any problems, go to Saint Joseph. And if there are any cures, attributed to Saint Joseph. It's not me who's healing you. It's Saint Joseph. Because I am pretty sure that he was asking Saint Joseph to pray with him to God. Again, because that's how much he was so devoted to Saint Joseph. Now, eventually, one of the things that Brother Andre was very excited about, was very like his dream, right, was to have a church built in honor of Saint Joseph on a hill that he could see from where his window was in the college. His bedroom window was overlooking a hill, and what he would do was get the statue of Saint Joseph and put it on the windowsill, and together they would look at the hill and they would pray. If that chapel was made, then maybe more people would come to be closer to God. And he prayed for it. In fact, he prayed for it for 6 years, from 1890 to 1896, when eventually some miracle happened. The land with the hill was purchased. And on that hill, a chapel was built. And in that chapel, Saint Andre, Brother Andre, was eventually assigned to be its doorkeeper. So his dream was coming true, and it was such a blessing, right? Brother Andre continued this until his death when he was 91 years old. Considering his frailty, that alone is a miracle. He was eventually beatified in Rome on May 23, which is incidentally my dad's birthday, in 1982, a year after our youngest sister was born. And he was canonized by Pope Benedict in 2011, October 17. The miracles of Saint Andre live to this day, and so much healing happened. I hope you guys read up a little bit more on this wonderfully humble man, because he truly is an inspiration. In his sickness, in his frailty, in his simplicity, even if he was not educated, he was able to bring the faith to millions. It is said that when he died, it was like a superstar, a Hollywood star passed away, because folks even from the States went to visit him, went to visit his body and pay their last respects. His effect on the world is so huge that you won't even imagine it. From a little boy who was born sickly to a very poor family back in the day. So guys, read up on Brother Andre, Saint Andre, and be inspired, because it doesn't matter really what you have or who you are. You just want to be able to say yes to God's call when He asks you to do something that will benefit other people, that will be something that others can use to know God better. In your own simple way, there is something that you can do. Trust, hope, pray, and don't be afraid. Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you enjoyed this little story. Stay tuned for next week as I bring to you another story of another amazing person who is going to be eventually beatified. Bye. Take care.